All right, review time for Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Commas in between all three of those things in the title. So good luck, comma, have fun, comma, don't die, which if you watch the trailer, they bash you over the head with it. Directed by Gore Verbinski, who did Cure for Wellness, Lone Ranger, Rango, not exactly the run of the century, but before that did the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, especially the first movie, which is a classic, awesome fucking movie. And you know what? While I don't love the second two quite as much, there's redeeming qualities.
I think those movies
redeeming qualities. They're classics. They're bona fide classics. The trilogy.
The second one I do enjoy quite a bit. The third one is not as good as the first two for sure. I don't think, but it does also feature one of the greatest CGI characters ever made. So, Davy Jones will hold up for eternity as like the most perfect CGI ever. But very enjoyable movies. And we do have an interview with him after this. A man claiming to be from the future takes the patrons of an iconic Los Angeles diner hostage in search of unlikely recruits in a quest to save the world. 2 hours and 14 minutes long. Small opening, 3.62 million opening domestically. Sam Rockwell, Haley Richardson, Michael Pena, Zazie Beetz, Juno Temple among the cast. 85-88% split on Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb 7.6, 65 Metacritic, Letterboxd 3.5. Gooch, what did you give it?
I'm at a 55. And it's a shame because, and I don't think it's like a bad movie at all. 55, we're on the positive side of things. The first 2/3 of this movie are borderline pretty great, like great, and just a good time because Sam Rockwell is having a fucking blast, and Gore Verbinski is so kinetic in the way he shoots things that you're just like running around in this like dystopian, but not dystopian because it's just like today world, and it's a good time. And then the final act, we'll talk about it. And it's hard to really give my thoughts on this movie without getting into the spoiler stuff. But the third act just needed to be, in my opinion, touched up a little bit more in terms of how it resolves itself. And I would say it's obviously, this isn't a spoiler. It's very anti-AI. I think a lot of its thoughts probably needed to be written down and baked a little bit longer. Because when it's time to pull them out of the oven in the third act, they're just undercooked. At least that's how I felt. But 55 out of 100, good time. And Sam Rockwell, like I said, is really going for it like he always does. And it's a really fun spot for him.
Okay. Kenjac, what'd you give it?
I'm at like a 70 out of 100. And I think that the biggest difference, just between, for example, me and Gooch's score is I value that first 2/3 of it a lot. Because the first half of this movie specifically is like amazing, and I put it up against just about any movie that came out this year among our top, like all of our collective like top fives for sure. It just tails off in the second half, and like it's kind of built up through these anthology stories, right? And some of them work really well, and some of them just kind of fall flat and don't feel like anything. And I would agree 100% with what Gooch is saying, is that there are a lot of ideas here. And some of them you're getting a raw meat, and the other one you're getting like a delicious steak. So just they need a little more consistency there. I would say that everything Sam Rockwell is incredible. Like it plays out like a really well choreographed dance, especially every time they're in that diner. The rest of the cast I think is solid. Not everyone else gets as much work to do with it. I would say obviously Rockwell carries the load. And I would say that it does leave you with something to think about as you get out of the theater and go home for sure. Like obviously you're saying like super anti-AI, also anti like just like doom scrolling, sitting on your phone, all that stuff. Like I felt that way when I left the theater. Like I went home and like normally at dinner I'm fucking glued, not paying attention to anything, and like I went home and I didn't want to do that. And I think that if you can elicit a response out of a person watching it like that, I think that's a positive, and especially elicit a positive response, because we shouldn't be doing that. So I think just a banger first half that just kind of tapers off at the end. So 70 out of 100 for me.
Yeah, we talked about, I talked about when you're talking about Wuthering Heights, like I do excuse batshit movies now and then because I just love ideas that kind of go for it and are crazy and out there. And I like this movie a decent amount. 78 out of 100. I really enjoyed it. I like the cast. I love Sam Rockwell, longtime Haley Richardson stockholder. I thought the whole cast in general was like enjoyable. It goes for it. It doesn't quite rein itself in gets a little too kind of off the handle probably, and we'll spoil it in a second. I'll let Gooch go when we do that because he let off and he was talking about spoilers. We'll spoil it after Klemmer's review. But I had a really good fun time with most of this, and I don't dislike how it ends either, but it loses itself a little bit. It's another one that I hate. I don't want to. It's not a runtime thing, but like its ideas are a little long in the tooth, maybe, where it's like, oh, okay, like it needs to kind of hone. Like Crazy's great, and I'd say for 80% of it, what it goes for is awesome. But then like the other 20%, it's like, okay, this almost feels like it's crazy for the sake of being crazy. It's like kind of hone it in a little bit, like kind of like let's bring it down, maybe just a level. But I love the cast of this movie. I thought they all worked great, but they all played their roles perfectly, and I was kind of loving all of them and found them pretty enjoyable. And it's kind of hard for me to dislike anything Sam Rockwell does in a lead role like this. So it's a good time, and also kind of gives you, like Kenjac said, it's definitely a movie that kind of, I'm not saying it's the most philosophical, like mind bending movie, but it definitely like has some weight to it, which I didn't really expect. Like it's trying to say something. So I enjoyed it. 70 out of 100. There's more here than I expected, but probably more than there should have been as well. Klemmer, what did you give it?
I'm at a 52. This plays out like a sloppy version of 12 Monkeys, which is a much better kind of version of this. Guy comes back to the past, which is our present, and tries to warn people. That's just a better movie. The other issue I have with this movie is it feels like you're talking to like a college freshman in a dorm that has all these big ideas,
Yep.
and it's annoying. But at the same token, like I still give it credit for having the ideas. Like ideas are good, but like it's crazy. Gore Verbinski directed this because it feels so immature. It feels like I said, like a espousing of like a 19-year-old that just like read his first philosophy book and thinks he has all the answers. And it's a little cloying in that way. But at the same token, it's like, all right, cool, this kid's reading a book. Like, that's awesome. Like, so you're still, like, happy for the kid. At the same token, like, I don't know if I want to hear this kid talk anymore. I don't know, way too long. Third act's, like, bad. It's just bad. There's some elements of this that, like, Kenjac and Gooch said, and you too, Jeff, like, how, like, oh, like, I took that home. You're like, yeah, like, all right, maybe, we are on our phones too much. And there's another thing we'll talk about in spoilers, too. It's like, but these are also, like, no shit, we're on our phone too much. Like, all right, thanks for telling me. Like, I don't know. 52 out of 100. I wish it was tighter. Wish it was better.
I don't mind no shit kind of morality as long as it's presented in like a fun way, right? Like it doesn't need to make me rethink or reshape how I view the world, though. I guess that's kind of my thing. Like I'm fine with that.
And why are you lecturing me then? Like what the movie? I mean, why is the movie lecturing me on this then?
I guess no. I don't hate you for that being a turnoff to you. It just doesn't bother me. Like if it's a good fun time and like enjoyable and put together in kind of a different way, I'm okay if it's a pretty basic like pen to paper, black and white, like moral it's trying to get off there. Like it does. I guess it doesn't like throw me off too much. Gooch, you mentioned spoilers. I'll let you kind of kick it off. You're kind of your main thing that you didn't want to spoil in the first half. We are going to spoil it now.
So, yeah, the movie kind of builds towards this, and it's kind of hinting at it in the background that the phones, like this is coming, like the phones are going to, brainwash people and turn them into, like it's heavily implied, and you see it in the second little flashback with the teachers that something weird is happening. Man, once the full reveal of like how the world goes to shit is, I think, just bad. Like, I think the phone, like them staring at their phones, walking like zombies, just is not a very cinematic way to go about things for the students. And then the kid, the AI had built is like on paper, like you said, Jeff, like I'm on board for movies going fucking bananas and having those crazy ideas in them, but it doesn't work. It just falls flat and feels almost like a bad third act in a Marvel movie because it's all of a sudden this big CGI fest and we're doing like a House of Horrors with the toys on the ground, and all these things can be fun, but it's just not working and it's not handled correctly. And it's not, I think it probably needed a little bit more budget on the back end because, once they have to start using CGI, it starts to look like shit. But like I said, everything up until that point was great. And that's why it's such a big letdown for me. Also, the reveal of Haley Lee Richardson being the mother, I think, is just like one of the most telegraphed things from like scene one. And they play it like, oh my God, like cannot believe this. But that didn't bother me nearly as much as like just like the way the world goes to shit. I think is just like you gotta do something else there. You gotta at least, or if you're gonna do it, do that comedically, like with the kids walking. But it's almost played straight. Yeah.
You talk about the CGI being bad, which it was. Did anyone else feel like, why are we? This whole movie's about how computers are bad. And it's not just AI. Like the whole Haley Richardson stuff is about like computers are bad, pretty much. And then you're using CGI. Like, should you be using practical effects? Like, what are we doing?
I think the computer is
necessarily. It's like a weird hypocrisy. It's like
I get what you're saying, but I mean, I'm also like, I don't know how much like what do you. There's a level of like, I guess they kind of got to do what they got to do, right? If they're gonna make a movie that's that like,
I mean, you could use practical effects. I mean, the movie's kind of weird and goofy anyway.
There is craftsmanship to computer effects. There's no craftsmanship if you're just typing it into a prompt. I think that's the idea.
But
there.
the whole Haley Richardson thing, she doesn't have any technology in her home at all, and that's supposed to be kind of like the ideal. That's how it's kind of framed because her boyfriend leaves there.
Well, that's kind of the idea I think we're even talking about here. Is like there's maybe going after too many different ideas that maybe even compare and contrast. Because like there's the anti-AI thing, which like to a regular person should be like a regular thing, right? Because that's just like you're turning into the fucking dudes from Wall-E, you know what I mean? Like out of pure laziness. But then there's also like the anti-screens thing, which envelops the anti-AI thing. You know what I mean? Like it's 2 points that kind of like almost negate each other in a way. Like one is overlapping the other one. So I get the idea. I don't think that I don't think using computer generated graphics that are made by by human beings is necessarily like anti-ethical, whatever, to using or talking about AI or screens or whatever.
I will say the CGI has done no favors, or at least the anti-AI message of the movie is done no favors when the CGI does look that bad and looks comparable to what AI generated stuff.
Yes, that's true too. Yeah.
I don't know how you do the thing that they made, which I guess for in sports, the cat thing. Like I don't know how you do that in a way.
Why you do that?
You don't do it. That's the answer. You don't do it. But like I don't know how you do that and make that look realistic or real in any way. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I could see 12-year-olds across the country seeing this movie and loving it though. To Klemmer's point, it's like one of those like it's just smart enough. It's just smart enough for like a 14-year-old to be like, wow, this is really deep. This is like a fun, good time with a deep message. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be honest. Like those movies are important.
I mean, do you guys know that school shootings are normalized? Do you guys know that?
They hammer it.
Like, I don't see again. I guess
I like that.
That's a personal thing. That doesn't throw me off the movie. Like I said, like doesn't turn me off. It can be a surface level. It can be a surface level deep movie. I'm putting it in air quotes if you're listening only right now. But if it's a good enough time, I'm okay with that being the vessel. So.
Did you guys like the cloning scene? I thought that was amazing.
Like what?
The cloning scene. I thought the cloning scene was awesome. Like that dude that they had play the like the technician or whatever that was like trying to sell her like it was a used car, but it was like her son. Like I thought that whole scene was very funny. Enjoyed that quite a bit.
Rockwell is a great sci-fi, like kind of futuristic, otherworldly actor. Moon. I mean, even think about like one of the MCU's, I guess, quote unquote stinkers. Iron Man 2. He's great. As Justin Hammer, like a different role. I think he's fun in this. Like I don't like him in anything he's in, but he kind of fits these types of movies well. I don't know why. He just plays into the absurdity so perfectly.
Have you guys seen 12 Monkeys?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
You guys didn't get like crazy 12 Monkeys flashbacks watching this? I felt like it was just so.
It shot
like,
so different.
I try not to, and I know we just talked about that talking about Heat with Crime 101, but I try not to let that. I mean. If there's similarities, like whatever, I guess.
I mean, I felt it was more than similarities. I felt like it was like and I guess maybe because I enjoyed Crime 101, there were definitely similarities with Heat there for sure. Which is funny, because I think Heat and 12 Monkeys are the same year. But regardless, like, and so maybe we're getting kind of this 90s resurgence here, but like, I felt with this, it felt more like in my face. But maybe because I just didn't like this movie as much.
You could almost say it's like similar to Terminator in that same regard. You know what I mean? Like, there's like, I feel like a bunch of movies you could almost.
But both guys are like wearing garbage. Like, it's just like, I just felt very similar to me.
Great interview, by the way. Stick around for that interview.
Yes.
He's so smart. Like he's just well spoken and just he's done everything in the industry. It's a really good interview.
Yes, I thought this was a good time, but we all kind of had varying takes on it. If you want something kind of out there that's kind of going for it, having a little bit of fun, may not work for you exactly, but give it a try. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Gore Verbinski, the director, and a solid cat. Hey, Sam Rockwell, just pay the price of admission to see some Sam Rockwell. That's my big takeaway. I feel like everyone can agree on. He's the fucking man. So yeah, it's good luck, have fun, don't die.